Musings podcast. I'm your host, Lungo Mildred, and I'm so happy that you've joined me on another Wednesday for another amazing episode. So, Aki, I'm just down today, honestly. We're still having water issues, like I told you if you listen to last Saturday's episode. I'm down, like, this week. Today I'm recording this on Thursday night, but it's already past midnight, so it's already Friday. But I was waiting for water from Tuesday and it didn't come. Wednesday we were told, I don't know, there's a problem, the fundi is supposed to come and check. Today it was turned on, but again very little came through. At least I just got enough for drinking and cooking, but then none for showering and using the toilet and stuff. So I have to buy water. So like I'm just so down. I had to train my brain today not to get upset and not to let my anxiety take control like it did last week. So like when I felt the frustration coming, I was like, I'd rather cry than let that emotion come through. Like it was so bad. I was feeling it like bubbling inside of me because I'm like, why is this happening? Like I do not have a lot of things going on for me. The one thing I had going on for me in this flood since they started having water issues is that I could get enough in my drum to use until the next time there's going to be water. But that has also become a problem. My only solution right now is to move houses, like to move from this apartment and go to another one in this area, the same price and everything. But even that, I'll need to get the money for like moving, because I'll need to use like kokoteni or something which will help, and the people who are going to help me, I need money for them, and I need rent and deposit to be able to move. So I'm really thinking about it. But the problem around this area is getting a house is not easy. Like you have to go and talk to the caretakers and be like, hey, this is my number. If somebody moves out, let me know immediately so that I can come and check. But before you do that, you have to have the money ready. Like just find the money, keep it in your pocket or somewhere, and make sure that the moment they tell you there's a house ready, you go check it. If you like it, you pay and you enter. You can pay the enter after a while, but at least you have to pay for it immediately, because the houses here, like the way there's water, usually the place is sort of friendly. Like the place is friendly, it's nice. Like there's a good, I don't know, ambience around this area. I don't know. So like houses are never like empty for a long time. And that is something that our landlady was happy about when we had our former caretaker. But now she thinks that she's still going to get that if somebody moves right now. She forgets that the only reason people are loving this place is because it had water, it was always clean, and all of the things that I said in last Saturday's episode. So I don't know what she's thinking. But she says that if you don't want to be here, you move. Like that's a solution instead of fixing the water issue so that we don't have problems like we're having now. Her thing is, if you don't want to be here, you move. So I've thought about moving before, but because of my situation about being jobless and stuff, that has not been like a thing that I can just wake up and decide, you know what, this is my last month here. So I can't just do that. But now I'm honestly thinking like telling friends and family to just help me get the money that I need, keep it ready, go and check out different places and talk to different caretakers and be like, hey, if your place somebody moves, my number, Abby, let it be the first one. Even if I have to give them like mia mbili or mia moja, I don't not like that. I don't like bribing, but just so that I can get a different place, maybe with natural lighting. Oh my God, that would be amazing. I will do it, honestly, for the same price, just a clean space, because I'm tired. I can't be having these frustrations every week, because buying water separate from the rent that is attached to water, like, I don't know, it's just too expensive. I do not have a way of getting money every week, you know. My baking is not going as I thought it would be going. And the other things that I used to do aren't working. And even if they do, the money that I get will be fast for food and electricity and other things, not paying for water, because water I'm supposed to pay it with the rent and forget about it. So this I just don't like it. I honestly don't, and I do not appreciate it. My heart, I had to calm myself so much today to just be like, don't go there. But I cried. I really cried because of the frustration. I just let the tears come out and just be like, that thing, you just cry and let it all out. And then I was like, okay, now I'm good. Watched something that I like rewatched something that I like, just to calm my nerves. I ate late. I think now it's just been like almost an hour, because it's 1:12 right now. I think it's an hour since I ate my dinner. I know I ate past midnight, which you're not supposed to do, but I did. I couldn't eat earlier because I can't eat while I'm frustrated. So I had to calm myself down with whatever I was watching. It was like 1 hour, 40 something minutes. Then after I was calm enough, I could now eat. But and I was feeling hungry. I remember I was watching the thing and my tummy was just going like because I was so hungry. So I had to eat. I couldn't just sleep like that. But hey, I really think I should move. I've loved this place. It has served me for 10 plus years. But I remember even the lady who makes my hair, she told me, maybe your blessings are being withheld because you're in that house. Move and maybe other doors are going to open. And I'm thinking, yeah, maybe I should. Like, it doesn't have to be the way she said it, but I'm just feeling like, yeah, I think I've stayed here. I've overstayed here. I've overstayed here. So I'll go looking for a different place, look for the money. Hopefully, I get it. And then maybe next month or the next, or at least in the next 3-4 months, I want to have moved because I can't stay here like this. I can't take this month like this. I can't take another month and another month. Like, God, I'll end up just tunaishi ni kama tunaishi in the slums. And I'm sorry to say this, like, you have to buy water in the slums, you have to go and fetch it, you have to, here I didn't have that problem unless there's a massive problem in the entire area. But now there's not a massive problem. Like, if enough water comes through and they just put in my drum, like, that shouldn't even be the thing. I miss taking a good shower. Like, oh my God, I just miss a beautiful shower, like just standing and letting the water just flow over me. I miss that. So yeah, I'm really thinking about moving. But yeah, so I watched this movie yesterday. I couldn't record it because I don't know, what happened yesterday that I didn't record. I don't even, my neighbors, they were telling stories and laughing and putting music way into the night. Because I remember I was going to bed around 3 a.m. and they were still laughing. And there's one of the guys who laughs very loudly. I don't know if you'll hear them during this recording because they're still talking right now and they're laughing. And I was just like, I have to record this now so that tomorrow I can do other things and watch like next week's show and record it. I want to do the editing very closely so that maybe tackle until July, somewhere there. And then let's just concentrate on the water problems. So anyway, I watched it yesterday and I'm recording it tonight. I want to be done very, very soon. I don't want to last in this. So let's get into it, okay? On today's episode, I'm going to be giving a review of the South African movie Happiness Ever After. Happiness Ever After is a sequel to Happiness is a four-letter word, the one that I did the last time it was South African Movie Review Day. So I'll talk about the whole experience after, so let me just go through it. Happiness Ever After is a 2021 South African movie written by Ayanda Halimana and directed by Tabang Molea. The cast members include, again, is it Renate or Renate Stuman? I'm sorry. She plays Princess. Kanyimbao plays Zaza. Solile Shabalala, hope that's how you say the name. She plays Fakazile. I hated her in this. Yonda Thomas plays Yonda. Nambita Ben Mazwi, I love that girl. She plays Zimkita. Loyiso McDonald plays Tato. Nandi Nyembe plays Magwensa. That is Zaza's mother-in-law. Rami Chwene plays Dineo. Richard Lukunku plays Leo. Fulu Mugovani plays Lindiwe. Danny Letime Fyong plays Maxwell, amongst other cast members. Now, if you love spoilers like me, continue with this. If you do not like spoilers, leave, go to Netflix, watch the movie Happiness Ever After, then come back and tell me if you agree with me or not, because this is the official spoiler alert. Happiness Ever After follows again the three friends, but Nandi is not in this one. She was in Happiness is a four-letter word, but she's not in this one. In this one, she's replaced by Zimkita. aka Zim. So it follows Princess Zaza and Zim. Zim is a new addition. So when we start the movie, it's her that is narrating. If you remember on Happiness is a Four-Letter Word, you remember that I told you that somebody was narrating as the movie went on. So in this one, we start with Zim narrating her experience coming to Johannesburg to seek a better life, blah blah blah, because where she was living there it was problematic, things weren't working. So she's I don't know what other business she does, but she's also like a yoga instructor. So we start with her with the ladies and she's teaching them yoga and stuff. So we start following each and every one of them. Princess, the last time we saw her in Happiness is a Four-Letter Word, she had just gotten pregnant and given birth to Leo's daughter, and Leo was nowhere in sight. Leo, if you remember, was an alcoholic. So he had left. Princess here, she's not a single mom per se, because it's 5 years later and she's in a relationship with a guy called Maxwell. So Princess and Max are living together with their daughter and they're happy and things are working out. She's doing her gallery thing as usual and she's making her money, blah, 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 just like that. And then during an opening at the gallery, Leo comes back and he's in the crowd. And this is, I think, just at the beginning of the movie. Leo is in the crowd while Princess is giving a speech. And the person who notices him first is Zaza, who sees him. And then she looks at Princess, who's giving the speech. And then she follows Zaza's eyesight. And she sees Leo, who's there, standing there smiling, as if he did not leave this poor woman pregnant and alone, after messing her house up. And so she later on she faces him and she goes like, what are you doing here? Leave. But he goes like, I want to see my daughter. And I was like, the nerve, you left her while she was pregnant and then you're coming back. Look, I'm not against somebody getting to know their child. I'm not against that. Mom, dad, whoever left, if they want to come back and meet their child, it's okay. Because whatever happened between the two couples, it happened between the two couples, not the two couples plus the child, unless they were abusive. But him, he's sick. He is an alcoholic. So there's that. You can understand it and be like, okay, you can have supervised visits with your child. But other than that, no. So and then you go slowly by slowly building the trust, and then eventually when they're older, when they can speak for themselves, the child, you see how it goes. So I'm not against that, but him to just come during one of our openings and he's just like, yeah, I need to see my child. So she was like, leave. He left. Anyway, we continue with her later on. He shows up at her house while she's about to leave for her yoga, and Maxwell is going on a jog, and he comes outside the gate. The askari is telling him to leave, and he's yelling, I want to see my daughter, I want to see my daughter. Again, I was like, the nerve. Honestly, the nerve. Like, you come, you find the lady, you talk to her, you ask her about your child, and then you and her discuss how you're going to visit the child, how she's going to have to introduce you and everything. You just don't come at the gate and start yelling that I want to see my child. And then when Max comes over and goes like, who are you? And tries to defend the princess, he goes like, oh, we are cool. You can just continue with your run. And I'm like, why are you feeling so entitled? You left. Why are you feeling entitled to princess still? Like, it was such a stupid thing for him to do. I was so pissed off with Leo. Hey, yo. And then Maxwell tells him that she's not, I don't know if he said she's not around or she's having a nap or something. Then he turned to Princess and was like, you can go to your yoga, you are getting late. And then told the askari, send this man away. Like, just, I don't want to see him here. Let him go. So anyway, later on, Princess is talking to their friends, of course, and she goes like, oh, Leo is back. I'm thinking he wants to see the daughter, blah, blah, blah. So I'm feeling this and I'm feeling that. And I'm like, yo, 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 yo. Oh my God. Like, you should cut ties. And if you ever sit down with him, you sit down with him together with Maxwell, because this is the man that is, has raised this child. Your life is with him. But anyway, they're going to do whatever they're going to do in this Happiness is thing, like the movies. So anyway, she talks to the girls try to dissuade her from meeting with Leo, but of course she goes to Leo's house and talks to him because he wants to meet the daughter. And I think they had met first with the daughter, or this was her going to his place, and he has been painting, and so she's looking at the artwork and blah blah blah. Then he's cooking for her and they're eating, and then they're kissing, and then they're doing the hanky panky, and I'm like, you're cheating on Maxwell, just like Nandi cheated with Chris in Happiness is a Four-Letter Word, and I was so upset with her. So it's like it's a thing that it's a general theme in this universe of theirs. I want to read those books so badly. I don't know if it's all of them or it's just the first one that was the book. I think the others came from that. I'm not so sure. I have to read about that. But I was so pissed off because what the hell are you doing? Why is that a thing that you're going to do, to actively do, like cheat on your spouse? Why? So anyway, she cheats, and of course she goes back home and she's, you know, guilty and all of that. So she goes back home. Maxwell is there asking like, where have you been? Blah blah blah. She goes and takes a shower, comes back. The next day, he surprises her with something and they make love. Blah blah blah. This is just after. So I'm like, if they didn't use protection, then she gets pregnant again. Who will she know who the father of the how will she know who the father of the child is? Because this double deeping, I mean, I just can't. I don't know how women can be like this. I don't know how men usually are like this, but I cannot fathom doing that as a woman, as me. Let me not say as a woman, as me. Wouldn't do that. I would be so guilty. Actually, I wouldn't even sleep with Leo, but if for some reason, for some weird reason that I did, I'll come back and just be honest, because I don't know if I will be able to live with that guilt. My conscience wouldn't let me. But now she's carrying this secret around, and she's raising a child with Maxwell. And so the child meets with the dad and they spend time together. And then there's this time he comes over and he goes like, I want to pick the baby. I think her name is Tandy from school. And against better judgment, Princess goes like, okay, fine. So she goes off with her girlfriend to a spa. They're having a good day, blah, blah, blah. And then she gets a call from the school and she's told that your child has been waiting at the gate. Where are you? So they get into the car, they go, all of the friends, they go pick the daughter up, and he comes back. He comes to her place because, oh, I skipped a part. So Maxwell finds out during, he had a party, the engagement party, because he proposed at some point, Maxwell. And so they had an engagement party that they invited Leo. I do not understand why. I think I do, because actually that's what Maxwell wanted, just to demean Leo, to talk down on him in front of their friends and stuff. Like, I did not, that's the part I was like, okay, I do not want Princess with Leo, but Maxwell is a very, very real red flag, because the way he was talking about Leo and putting him down because he's not unreliable and he's an alcoholic and all of those things, there's a way that you can do that thing. They could have spoken without having all the friends there, so that he could try and put him down. And the reason he was putting him down is so that Princess could see that he's nothing, that Max is better than Leo. And for that reason, I was like, yeah, don't go with Leo, but Maxwell ain't it either, because what the hell? So anyway, during that engagement party, Leo stuck around after everybody else had left because he wanted to see Tandy. And, Maxwell is observing them because she's guilty. You could tell from her face that she was hiding something. And even when she opened the door for Leo to come in, like, it was just weird the entire time. So the kid had already slept, so she wasn't being brought, and there was tension there. So when Leo left, Maxwell just went like, you slept with him. And so they have a discussion, but he leaves. And I was like, good, because at least he left, unlike Tom, who stayed with Nandi after Nandi cheated with Chris. I can't still forget that and forgive it either. So anyway, he left. And so now, by this time where Leo is coming, celebrating, because I don't know, there's a deal that had gone through for him. And he was on the way to go and pick Tandy from school. And then he got the call to go and sign the papers. He turned around, went to sign the papers for his business instead of going to school to collect his daughter and maybe now going to sign the documents. Because he would have just told them, give me a couple more minutes. I'm on my way to pick my daughter up from school. Let me pick her up and then we'll come together. Is that okay? No, I don't think any person would have said no. because he's still going there. But he left the kid at school. And so he's coming so happy. Oh, I have good news, blah, blah, blah. And and Princess is like, what? Get out. You left my child in school. And he's like, oh, and he's laughing. Like, he thinks that it's such a good thing. And even then, when he came to the house, because he was saying that, oh, I was on my way to go and pick her up, but then I was called to sign this deal. Then I went. He didn't say that he went back by the school. He came straight to Princess's place, meaning the daughter would have still been at school waiting. Like, honestly, so unreliable. So anyway, Princess sends him away and he leaves. But then again, he comes back to visit the daughter, blah, blah, blah. Now they are co-parenting, sort of. So that is Princess. So we leave her at the end. Max has come to pick some of his things. And so Princess is alone again. And that's where we meet her in Happiness Is. Okay, because Happiness is the last in the franchise. So it's Happiness Ever After. Happiness is a 4-letter word, and then Happiness Ever After, and then Happiness Is. And so yeah, that's where we meet her, like co-parenting with Leo. And now I understand why she was so effed up in Happiness Is, because she was still after Leo. But again, from 2021 to 2024, why are you still after this guy? What have you been doing? Because she's a beautiful woman. What have you been doing? You're not dating anybody else. So Max left. Leo was Leo. And then he moved on with somebody else. And you are now pining after him, trying to destroy his relationship in Happiness Is. I mean, that was so beneath her. Because now that I have watched these other two movies, I understand Leo. And I'm like, Princess was so way better for him. And she ruined her own life for no reason. Because Leo was not worth it. Anyway, we move to Zaza. Zaza, in Happiness is a 4-letter word, she was married to this guy who had money, blah, blah, blah. But then in this one, she is a widow. The husband died and now she's a widow. And we meet her. She's enjoying her life, still living in the beautiful mansion that her husband used to own. And then things starts going segem for her because Fakazile, that is her late husband's sister, shows up with their mom, Mag Quenta. I don't know how to say that name. But yeah, their mom. So this is Zaza's mother-in-law. So they show up because they had missed the children, and it's 1 year since the husband died, and she buried her husband in Johannesburg instead of where they come from, like in the village where the mom was, where he wanted to be buried next to the dad. So they have come just to be with them. Fakazile is taking charge of the business that Zaza's husband used to take care of, and she's all over the place. I love the way she talks, but in this one, it just made me not like her. She reminded me of the lady from Bridgerton. Agatha, let me just say Agatha from Bridgerton. She reminded me of her. The way she talks and the way, she commands the room when she enters. Her tone, any other movie, I would have loved her talking like that. But in this one, I hated her because of what she was doing. Yes, I agree that Zaza is not the most reliable person. She's not the best person because she was cheating on her husband the entire time they were married. But for this woman to come and try to take everything that, belongs to her and her children because, they were my brothers, that's one thing that I'm like, if I ever get married, I beg, we are getting married and you're having a prenup and a will because I do not want this nonsense. Your family cannot just come and start harassing me. So she's taking care of the company. While Zaza, remember, she had a shoe shop or something. She was selling shoes and stuff like that. And so Fakazile wants to take over everything that belonged to the brother, including the house and the children, and leaves Zaza alone in the streets. And I'm like, woman, hey, if I've never fought in my life, I will fight for my children. You cannot take that. Hey, my God, if I've never managed a business, I will learn how to do it because you cannot leave me out on the streets and take my children as well. Children that I gave birth to, not you, because they were your brothers. Hey, I beg. And I do not know what rules are there in South Africa pertaining such issues, because there's a point where Zaza was really, really afraid that, Fakazile might take everything, including the children. Because I remember there's a part where Fakazile was telling the mom to, if she wants to go back to the village, because the mom was like, no, it's time for me to go back. She was like, if you want to go back, take the children with you. She even put the house on sale. There's a loan that the husband had taken, blah, blah, blah. She could get a car with it. And there's this lawyer who was helping her with the thing, that's Tato. And they ended up kissing at some point, and Fakazile found them. And I was like, why are you doing that? Why are you? I do not mind you moving on. It's a year since your husband died. You're allowed to, But you're doing it in the company that he owns. And the sister, your sister-in-law is after you. And that's why you go and kiss that other guy. But anyway, I understand why, because Tato is so cute. And it was just complicated. And I was just like, no, 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 no. You shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have kissed him in that company. You shouldn't have done that. That was just wrong in so many levels. But anyway, Zaza fights and fights and fights with the sister-in-law. The mom finally talks to them both, and she's like, you're my daughter-in-law, you're my daughter, stop this fighting, whatever. I'm leaving, going back to the village. I do not want this nonsense. My son would not have wanted this. And she tells the daughter, like, my son, your brother, loved the wife. He chose her. And it's not okay for you to come and say otherwise. And your brother also loved you. I understand that you miss him, that you feel like, blah, 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 whatever, that you are left behind and everything, but you cannot do this. So anyway, I don't know where the Abautan was, because there's this car that she had bought, that is as a Lamborghini, with a loan from the company. So she sold it, and there's this apartment that she had gotten, where she was like, okay, I can go there and live there. I don't know. It was so complicated, the things about the money and well, it's not really complicated, but yeah, I don't talk about it. So anyway, she ends up selling the Lamborghini, and I don't know how, because we never saw that meeting, but she somehow ended up being like on top in the company, because at the end she faces Fakazili and goes like, you are going to stay in the company, and I'm going to stay, and I'm going to manage my husband's properties because I know I can, and you are going to teach me everything that you know about this business, because I'm going to be here and I'm not going to leave. And I think because the sister was going like calling her hoe and stuff, that you deserve you to be at the corner somewhere, and she was like, yeah, the corner office. So yeah, I'm going to take that, and I'm going to, be here all the time. And I was like, yes. I don't know where the switch was, because I do not think I didn't watch that part. But yeah, I don't know what happened, but she ended up being on top. And I was like, yes, woman, go for it. I know that you're cheating on your husband. I get it. But your husband loved you. And every time he was out to a different country for business, you are at home, making his home, taking care of his children. When he was around, you made sure he was fed, his clothes were okay. Even if you had a housemaid, it does not matter, because you're the one who was taking those clothes to them and being like, yeah, wash this one for my husband, blah, 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 blah. So, no. You can't leave me in the street after he's gone. He chose me. And I was there for him while he was alive. Woman, leave. So yeah, I was very proud of her in that moment. So that is Zaza. We end with her happy, controlling the business. I'm not sure why she didn't show up in Happiness Is, because this was such a great place to leave her. So yeah. Now, the last lady, that is Zim Kita. Zim is new, and she is amazing. She's a yoga instructor, and she's loved by her friends. So she became friends with Princess and Zaza. And during that Princess's open, the gallery, blah, 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 well, that party, she was forced to stay because she was helping Princess with, I think she was also, I don't know, I think she was also like a party planner or something. I'm not so sure, because she was there working, but then Princess and Zaza insist that she stays. So while she was there, she meets this handsome man called Yonda. I remember I kept calling him Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, if you know, you know. So I kept calling him Yondu, but he's Yonda. Yonda is a very handsome guy. He's been jaded before. He was about to get married, but then the fiance, I don't know, cheated on him or left him on the altar or something like that. So he's now creating an app. He quit his job and is creating an app that deals with, like, it's a dating app where there's no emotion involved. You meet like Tinder, you meet, hook up, and everybody goes their own way. Like, it's a way of being free and just going there, not looking for love, not looking for romance, not looking for anything special. Just go and bang and you go. But the investors were not investing in that, because why would I invest in something like this? Like, people need to talk, people need to be in each other's lives, people need people. And what you're trying to get us to put our money in, it's just not it. And so he was very, very upset with that. He tried several times, but then here at the party where they first meet, all of these things, they happen through the course of the movie. But when they meet, he sees her, they smile at each other, they go and have food, and then they start seeing each other. They meet, they do the hanky panky, they go their own separate ways. They meet again, hanky panky, separate ways. You can see that Zim is falling for him, even though she's like, yeah, it's not, you don't have to be serious, blah, blah, blah. You know how people talk. Because the other person is suggesting something, you just go like, yeah, okay. But then you know that's not how you really feel. So that was what was happening. And you can see that he's also liking her, because when they're together, he's enjoying their time together. But then when he leaves, it's I don't, he was a complicated guy. But anyway, they do that dance over and over again until she's like, you know what, I can't do this anymore, because I can't always be there for you when you're never there for me. Because he was calling her his friend, but she wanted more, clearly. And she had even told him about her story, because she, now there's this part where she tells him the story about where she was from before coming to Johannesburg. She was with this guy and he was broke and everything, and she invested so much money in him, spent a lot on him, and then he just disappeared after losing the money or something. And then he comes back and is dating somebody else, and he's now getting married to another woman. So this guy, even when they're talking to Zim, because there's this, the first time they lived together, she was telling him like how you can be with somebody and fall in love and be there for them through everything, and then they break up with you for no reason, and then you just hear that they're getting married. In that whole scenario, I would have expected Yonda to respect her and not, escalate things. But he did. He went there. She let him, but I feel like she was vulnerable and he took advantage of that. Not to say that he was a bad guy, but honestly, that was a very wrong thing for him to do. Because I looked at that as like, hey, no, Baba, you don't do that. You don't sleep with a woman after she's just been so vulnerable with you and told you about this, terrible thing that happened to her with a guy. And then in the morning, you're waking up and you're going like, you know what? I don't do relationships. I don't want to be in a relationship. I was like, what? And she played it cool. She was like, yeah, okay. I was like, no, babe. You should have put a stop to it at the beginning. But then she continued. And so at the end, she was like, no, I don't want this anymore. And so she broke things off. And at the end, after the yoga thing and blah, 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 at the end, he comes back to her and surprises her. And he's like, I'm in love with you and I want to be with you and all of that. And they end up together. So that was good for Zim. I'm trying to shorten this story because you're already on minute 36 and I don't want it to be too long like last Saturday's episode. So I don't remember the ending. Only I don't remember where we ended. Was it with, but honestly, all of them had a good ending. Princess, like, it was settled, honestly, but I wouldn't say that it was the best ending for her, but she ruined her life herself. For Zim ended up happy, Zaza ended up happy, and so that was happiness ever after. So yeah, it's just, I remember, I think it was Princess who was narrating at the end, who was like, happiness, there is happiness ever after, not just in movies, but in real life. It's just like a different thing at the end. It's a different picture to every other person. So happiness ever after is different for everybody. It's not the same thing. It's not like one size fits all kind of thing. But yeah, where they ended, I'm like, yeah, I'm happy for Zaza, you know. She had a good ending. Princess, not so much, but Zim had a good ending. And yeah, so that is happiness ever after. I believe that these movies, each and every one of them focused on a different person. I think that happiness is a four-letter word was about Nandi and how, her story ended. It had a beginning, a middle, and an end where she ends up with Tom, right? They get back together. And this one, Happiness Ever After, was about Zim and Zaza, mostly Zaza, because it was Princess Zaza and Nandi in the first one. So I think this one was mostly on Zaza, and she had her happy ever after, right? Because she got her business back and everything. Oh, actually, it ended with her with Tato. Zaza ended up with Tato in the pool, and they were yes, I had forgotten that. But so she had her, like, she was the happiest in this one. So I believe that Happiness Ever After was about Zaza mostly, and then also a little bit of Zim, and then that Happiness Is follows Princess. Because she ended up good with the chef. She ended up following him outside, so I believe they ended up together. So all of the ladies had somebody at the end, and they had their careers, and they had their children, blah blah blah, and they were happy. So yeah, it was a good franchise. It's a good like movie to follow from the first one to the last one, and I encourage all of you to go and watch it. And remember, Happiness Ever After and Happiness Is are on Netflix, but Happiness Is a Four-Letter Word can be found on YouTube. So find it and watch it. I don't understand why Nandi wasn't in this one, but as I said, yeah, it's because her story was already done in Happiness Is a Four-Letter Word. But yeah, they introduced somebody new in the others, which was good. But I have a thing about Happiness Is, because Happiness Is was like Princess's best friend is the one who organized her party and everything. But that was a new woman, right? It wasn't Zim or Nandi or Zaza. Like none of them. It's like as if their stories were told and it was done. I would have expected for that party to have had Zaza or Zim, at least, because she was a party planner. But then they introduced somebody totally different, and as the best friend who forced issues and made Happiness Is happen the way it did. So that was sketchy, but yeah, it is what it is. And so I loved it. Everything in the movie was good. It made me laugh. I just didn't like the cheating, but that's a me thing, not like, but the story flowed. Most of the decisions the ladies were making, I was like, what? Zaza kept yelling at Zaza and being like, can you chase that woman away? Can you just put her in her place? Because what is Fakazile even doing in your house? Yo. And when she put the house on the market, my God. But anyway, they showed a bit of Johannesburg. It's beautiful, of course. It's South Africa. I love the dresses the ladies were wearing. Again, Zaza had a different face. Kanyembao. She always looks different in everything. She looked different from how she looked in Happiness, a Four-Letter Word. That's for sure. And so, like, I just loved it. I loved it, everything about it. The picture, the flow of the story, everything about it. I did not like Leo, because him coming back and Princess ruining her life, that is just I don't remember any music from the show, but there was music, of course. I'll give it a 7 out of 10 because it was an amazing movie. I would watch it again, honestly. But then for what? Because what they're doing is not teaching me anything, and I'll just be yelling at Zaza all the time and being disappointed by Princess, and being like, oh my God, Zim, and shouting at Yonda, like, open your eyes. So I don't know, but yeah, I'll give it a 7 out of 10 because it was good. It was a good movie, well done, and I would urge you to go to Netflix and watch it. Then come back here and tell me if you agree with me or not. And yeah, let's discuss it in the comment section. Let's see if you're on the same page on this, okay? After you do that, please remember that I'm still baking, so you can get me on my DMs on Instagram, Mimi's Musings Podcast, and tell me there if you want me to bake for you, to cook for you, and I'll surely do it. Follow me on TikTok as well, Mimi's Musings Podcast. Then come back here. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so that whenever I upload something new, you're going to be amongst the first people to